technical challenges today. So hang with me. We'll see how it goes, right? Always technical challenges. We're always pushing the envelope. I've got a new assistant today, and I want you to meet him, and maybe he can handle some of the workload as I travel, especially. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA, bringing marketing news from across the world to you every day. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, well, there's some serious breaking news around the world today, but let's start with something fun. And this is a commercial that Heinz did as a follow-up to one where they just asked people from 18 countries around the world to draw a picture of ketchup. Okay, and then that was a big hit. Sales went up 10%. Social media engagement about 1,500%. So let's see what this comes up with. Artificial intelligence can now generate images from text. Cow bus. Fry castle. Cheese planet. So we gave them a simple prompt. Ketchup. And it draws a Heinz ketchup bottle with some artistic frills on it. Ketchup. Even AI knows that ketchup is Heinz, no matter how we asked it. Ketchup Renaissance, ketchup impressionism, ketchup street art, ketchup stained glass, tomato ketchup. These ones turned out weird. Outer space, Americana. It has to be Heinz. Okay, so there you go. Now you know. Now you know the answer. Yeah, because AI told you, right? So let's see what else we've got. So I decided that I started looking around, and we're going to have some follow-up articles. I'm going to try and see if this even works. But I found some other features about AI. This is one about TikTok, and now you can use
text into images. TikTok quietly debuted a new filter
this girl
that creates background images from written suggestions using an artificial intelligence text-to-image generator.
And there's a
similar to OpenAI DALL-E and Midjourney. Users can
OpenAI
use natural language
DALL-E.
to type in what they would like to see in an image.
Type in what you like to see, and it'll make the image.
Screen filter then automatically generates an image based on the description.
Sharks with cowbells.
The images are not as complex or refined as what Midjourney produces, but it is also much faster and generated in-app in seconds. That means TikTok creators don't have to wait to complete their posts.
She does a pretty good job, right? Okay, so then I thought, well, could I do that? And so here's my new assistant. You know, you haven't met him before. Watch this. You won't believe it. Maybe you will believe it. Let's see if I can get him in frame a little better. That's a little better. Okay. I don't know why I can't get him. I can't get him down there. Let's get him in there. There he goes. Oh well, that'll have to do. Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miggs for the WDMA, bringing you marketing news from around the world every day.
And there you go. Made with Reels AI. Now, I wish one of the things they really should do, and I may be able to do it, if I could. If I downloaded it and put it on YouTube, I could actually slow it down. Or if I took the time to play with the software, I could slow it down so that it had more like my own pacing. How do you like that guy? What do you know, right? I wouldn't even have to be here anymore. How about that? Okay, so what does this have to do with marketing, right? What does this have to do with marketing? Maybe nothing. Okay, let's get over to the real news. So here's the article from Amy Houston. That's not AI generated, and it basically says that they got a big hit. Here's some other images that they found you could do: cow bus, fry castle, ketchup street art, right? And so this is an article about that. Wired had an article about now our algorithms can now mimic any artist. Okay, and so they take your work and your style, and I don't know how they break it down because that's not my thing, but they can basically, you have a body of work, and they can create something completely different in your style. And artists are not too happy about it. I'm not going to get into this one because it's a really long article, but it's worth reading. And if you click on this link, which you can hear an audio version of the article. And here is an article about another company that enables anyone to have their own news anchor. Okay, and so you can create your own news anchor. Hour One is the name of the company. I wasn't able, or I guess that was maybe how I got that news anchor, or maybe it was Reels. I think it was Reels. I went to Reels and got the artificial intelligence. So that was, I was really down the rabbit hole. So how does this possibly apply to direct mail or to direct marketing? Well, Scott Adams, who knows quite a bit about mail and about split testing, Scott and I exchange messages, and we talk behind the scenes. I don't think he ever mentions me. I'll tag him in this. Maybe he'll tweet it or something. Anyway, he's retweeted a couple of things I've sent him, and I said, well, it hasn't changed my life yet. And he says, not yet. That's what he wrote back. That's the kind of messages I get. Anyway, so Scott said, oh yeah, you don't think AI art, can take over your graphics department? Well, all you have to do is take your image that the AI art created and split test it against what your artists come up with. And you may find out that, well, back in the day, we hooked up the first CompuGraphic to a PC word processor so that we could do type galleys. What we used to do in the old days is the typesetter would send a text, like a typewriter version, a paper typed version of the copy. And we would know what word count we had room for. We knew the dimensions that were going to go underneath the image for a catalog designing, it was not what you see is what you get. I mean, it was anything but. We did tissues on what's called a Lucy. Lucy was a platform, kind of like an overhead projector, if you remember from grade school back in the 50s or 60s. But it would basically shine a bright light on your image, and then you could trace it. You could put a piece of like onion skin on the top of a piece of glass, and you could size it, and you could focus it, and you could get a really nice outline. And so our artists would do a tracing of an image to get the size to fit in the size of the spot for that item. And then so we do the photography first, essentially. Then we would lay it out. No, we would usually use pickup art from like manufacturers' catalogs and stuff. So we put a spot there, so we know how big the image was going to be, because you can get them for less if they're little. And then we would figure out the type, and we would lay out. We would first design the catalog by the proportions of product categories based on sales. Okay, so if you had like, well, that's what we were talking about with Lovesac. They were giving 80% of their catalog to products that had 10% of their sales, the sourced products, instead of their own product line. So we got them to flip that around. But that would be how we would start. We would say, okay, this is how much we sold in hats. This is how much in pens. This is how much in mugs. And then we would proportion the catalog to that many pages. And then we would design specific products. We had this war room, we called it, and we would put up the pictures and the copy and the materials that we had about the items, and we would just put them up. And then each spread would have an envelope. I don't know if anybody cares about this, but it's, it was how we built it before. What you see is what you get. And we were able to build from start to in the mail about 12 weeks, from not having ever done a catalog to in the mail. And so we were very, very good at the process of doing this. But anyway, we would rearrange the pages in the war room with pins. We actually had a room with cork boards. And one time I was in the back rooms of Land's End, and they had the same basic thing. And what we would start with is we would start with each page from a previous catalog and how it had done. And we'd take a magic marker and write down the sales per page, or the percentage of, it was like, there's a lot of ways to do space analysis. The easy way is to do percentage of catalog versus percentage of sales. Then you can give it a number, and boom, boom, boom. And they all have their number plus or minus a little bit. And that tells you which pages to shrink and which pages to expand. So we start with that. Then we would put up these whiteboards underneath it and decide what goes where. And then we would place items in each spread. And then we would take those items off, put them in an envelope. That would give instructions to the photographers. We stopped sending artists to the photography shoots. We gave the photographers specs on how we wanted the product lit, how we wanted it portrayed. And but anyway, eventually we would get around to setting the type, where we would have the type written and on a piece of paper, and they would go type it into a typesetter. And we went to CompuGraphics and said, we'd like to hook this up to a word processor on a PC. They said no one's ever done that. And Ted, my IT guy, he figured it out. We were the first one to do that, we were told, by CompuGraphics. I've heard other people had done it this was in about the mid 80s, when PCs were just coming on, later 80s, I guess 87, 86 maybe. And it would stream out, and then we would glue it down. We had a waxer, you put it through there, and you cut it with an X-Acto knife. That's how we did everything. And so anyway, our artists it would take forever. We couldn't make any changes, but our artists would putz around with the images a lot. And now you can just tell it you want a bottle of ketchup and with unreadable type, or in Arabic or something, and it'll do that for you. So now you can split test without necessarily having to go to Fiverr or something and create your own image. The artists are mad because they're leveraging prior work, creating something unique, so it gets around copywriting, it seems to, and but nevertheless, utilizing someone else's work. I don't know. Here's an article. It's been this study's been around for a while, but this is one of the best summaries of it from Brand United. They just basically took a press release and published it. And it's the study. The detailed study is about $2,500, I think. It says that the direct mail advertising market has grown a compound rate of minus 1.4% growth rate of minus since 2016, but by 2026 they expect a couple of percent growth, which is, at least it's not shrinking anymore. And after 2026, the next 5 years, they expect about a 1% growth. It's not a lot. What was surprising to me was that Western Europe was the largest region in the direct mail advertising market, accounting for 30% of the total in 2021. Asia Pacific, second. The highest growth is expected to be in Asia Pacific, South America, and then Middle East and Africa. So, we're all digital in the United States, but we're hoping to change that. The WDMA, of course, is worldwide, and we have friends in Africa, in Europe, around the world. So happy to help, and we can even do machine learning with mail if you have drops of 100,000 or better at a time or something like that. That's about where the break even starts to happen, where it's worth doing. So, I guess we're making progress. We're getting some growth. So like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Don't forget, September 8th in Minnetonka, September 14th in Boston. at the NMOA show, we'll have a little get together and talk direct marketing over a beer. Look forward to seeing you there. Have a great